I promise you, when I eventually get to Sonic Mania, that intro is gonna make a lot more sense. Hello there everybody, this is CwapTheNintendin here, and welcome to another episode of Platinum Impressions. Today, we are going to be talking about, 6 different games today, and, well, that may sound hefty, but it really isn't. It's the Sonic the Hedgehog 8-bit games, and I know what you're thinking, 8-bit Sonic? What is this? Well, a lot of people don't know this, but Sonic actually did have an 8-bit life. Yeah, SEGA Master System, Game Gear. They had, Sonic games on there. They had Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic Chaos, Sonic Triple Trouble, Sonic Labyrinth, and finally, Sonic Blast. Okay, I know that's not all of them. There is Sonic, Drift 1 and 2. Sonic Pocket Adventure for the Neo Geo Pocket Color and all that. But I didn't play any of those games, didn't I? I didn't. So, on with the show. So, I'm watching a certain reviewer on YouTube, aka some call me Johnny, going through the 8-bit Sonic games. And I got curious. I've known these games since I unlocked them and played them a little bit on Sonic Adventure DX for the GameCube. But I never felt the need to beat them because, I was a little kid and I had to do other stupid shit. So, now I was curious. So I decided to plug in back the old GameCube, get the Sonic Adventure DX out, and because Sonic had 8-bit titles on, the Master System and Game Gear, I got curious and decided to play them, just to see if they're anything worthwhile. So, yeah, let's get straight to it. So first we have the 8-bit Sonic the Hedgehog 1. If you ever played the Genesis Sonic the Hedgehog 1 a lot as a kid like I have, then the 8-bit version for the Master System and Game Gear will kinda throw you for a loop. While the game essentially does have the same sort of plot and control, even though it's slightly different physics compared to the Genesis game, the design of this version is radically different. You'll see it as soon as you start your adventure in Green Hill Zone. There's no famous shuttle loop or anything like that. There's just Sonic just running like he is just a faster version of Super Mario. Speaking of Green Hill Zone, 3 zones from the Genesis version are present here, but they are actually different in design. Green Hill Zone being the first one, obviously. Labyrinth Zone being the 4th zone because they couldn't get that stupid shit out of here. And Scrap Brain Zone being the 5th, but not the final zone in the game. The other half of the zones in this game are actually original zones, with Bridge Zone being zone number 2, Jungle Zone being number 3, and Sky Base serving as the final zone of the game rather than Scrap Brain Zone. I actually really like Bridge Zone quite a bit. I can honestly see why people prefer Bridge Zone over Marble Zone. It's such a good second level. I played this a lot of times and, could the Genesis version get Marble Zone? Couldn't the Genesis version get, Bridge Zone instead? Couldn't this get Bridge Zone instead? It's such a better second zone than Marble Zone ever could be. Jungle Zone has some of the best music in the game in my opinion, and Sky Base Act 1 is a short but challenging way to bring the closer game to its end, with Sky Base Zone Act 2 being basically Winged Fortress 0.5 with no rings. Yeah, I'm serious. You better bring your A game to Sky Base Zone Act 2. You get no rings. Have fun. So yeah, the design is actually very, very different compared to, the Genesis game. I mean, Labyrinth Zone may not be as annoying as it is in the Genesis version, but you still have to slog through a lot of water, and believe you me, the game slows down tremendously because of that. But to be fair, these games, the zones are actually, relatively, shorter because, it's on a Game Gear or Sega Master System. They're obviously going to be a whole lot shorter because of, portability and shit. And as for the boss fights, as soon as you're playing this game on the Game Gear, which most people would often, do because, they had Sonic Adventure DX on the GameCube for that, Sonic can very easily reach Eggman in certain boss fights. That's screen crunch, yo. Otherwise, no rings for every boss. Huh. I mean, not that they're hard or anything, I mean, they're relatively really easy, but Jesus Christ. They really like that design a lot, and trust me, that's going to be true for some of the other games as well. Special stages do exist by getting 50 rings by the end, but they serve to only give you lives and continues. As for the Chaos Emeralds, you have to find them in the actual levels, and when you get them all, the Eggman technology is gone and South Island is safe for all of 5 minutes. So, yeah, that's really all I have to say about, 8-Bit Sonic 1 here. And I'm not gonna lie when I say that 8-Bit Sonic 1 should really only be for Sonic veterans. Beginners aren't gonna find themselves getting into the series with this version. If you are going to play this game, then I recommend both versions actually. The SEGA Master System version for the better screen resolution, or you can get the Game Gear version for added tweaks here and there to make the game a little bit easier on yourself. And what do I mean by that? Jungle Zone Act 2. In the Master System version, it's Contra Syndrome, where everything below you is lava. But in the Game Gear version, they actually fixed that, so it's a lot easier. And there's a lot of added tweaks here and there to make the game easier for yourself. So yeah, I honestly recommend the Game Gear version, even though it basically has the curse of the screen crunch. But, it's not the end of the world. It really isn't. So yeah, I'm gonna be basically blazing through these games because, there really isn't a whole lot to talk about because, well, it's Sonic, you run to the right, you run fast, you gotta go fast. And now we get into Sonic 2 for the 8-bit systems. This game is hard. Play it on the Master System because that screen resolution will help you. And actually, believe it or not, if you really thought that, Genesis Sonic 2 was the debut of Tails, nope. The Master System version debuted a whole month earlier, so technically Tails first appeared in this version. But, unfortunately, he is not playable as he is kidnapped by Dr. Eggman and holds him for the ransom. Sonic needs to find the Chaos Emeralds in order to save him because if you beat the game without him, even by cheating your way over to the true final area, he's dead. No, really, he is. Okay, he really isn't. But the implication is there. Like Sonic just runs over to the right during the credits and, he looks up to the sky and sees a constellation of Tails and the end just sort of, appears on there and he's just like, oh my god, did Tails die? Did Tails die? Oh my god! Okay, but yeah, Chaos Emeralds, they are kind of important to this game, as they are your way of getting to the true final area of the game, which is Crystal Egg Zone, and the true final boss as well. So, yeah, it's just the Sonic show from here on in, and believe you me, if you ever played Sonic 2 before, then the 8-bit version is a completely different beast compared to it. Basically what I'm trying to say is the 8-bit version of Sonic 2 is a completely different game from the Genesis version, because they have all original zones, no tails, and the difficulty. Like, as soon as you face your first boss, you gon' run into shit unless you know your way around. Yeah, Underground Zone is kind of a hard zone to start off on, and it doesn't really get much better with Sky High Zone, because it's got Leaps of Faith, as well as a hang glider that barely works, even though I managed to get it working in the footage. Aqua Lake's pretty fun, until you realize that it has its own version of Labyrinth Zone in Act 2, where everything just slows down tremendously, and you're gonna spend a lot of time in there, it's just ugh. But then, you have easily the best level in the game. Green Hills Zone. Oh, I'm sorry. Green Hills Zone. Yes, there's a big difference, because it's easily the easiest level in the game, and that could have been the first zone in the game as well, because they have a lot of rings and lives in order to, basically build up your life collection. Plus, it has the best song. You nerds thought that Sonic CD debuted Toot Toot Sonic Warrior, but no, Toot Toot Sonic Warrior actually debuted with Green Hills Zone. Gimmick Mountain is actually pretty cool with the scrap brain drums and the pretty neat level design. Except for those situations where you have to do or die, in which case, yeah. Scrambled Egg Zone. If you thought Metropolis Zone was bad, well, You got tubes? Check. Barely any rings? Check. And confusing level design. But hey, it's got a pretty kick-ass theme, which is pretty damn good. I've had the hardest time figuring out this place that I actually looked up a video showing me how to get through it. Like, not that I got a time over or anything, because those also exist, but Jesus. I could barely get through with all the tubes and junk. And finally, you have Crystal Egg Zone. It looks shiny, but it's honestly not even that hard, to be honest. Well, except for the final boss, because, you know, the final boss is a thing that exists. And as for the boss fights themselves, it's the same story as the first one. There's no rings. Plus, you gotta travel a little bit before you even get to the boss, because, oh my god. I remember one section in Gimmick Mountain where it has basically a do or die situation even before getting there, like Jesus Christ. Again, not that the boss fights are any hard or anything, but, you know, they need to work on it. They really do. It's like the game's designers like to know Ring's final boss tradition in Sonic 1, 2, and 3, and decided that every boss should have that. So it's only because of that that I only recommend this game, just like Sonic 1, for Sonic veterans only. It's difficult, and is honestly the pinnacle of the trial and error and possible death from the classic Sonic games, believe you me. But, if you're feeling brave enough, play the Master System only, because the screen glitch on the Green Hill is bullshit. Sonic Chaos! Easiest game. Doesn't matter if you played the SEGA Master System or the Game Gear versions, it'll be easy. Most of the zones that you go through, you'll likely blaze through in about 30 seconds to about a minute, and you'll basically get many continues from points without even trying. Like, look at the end footage. Look at this screen cap I got. I got 6 continues. 6 continues. This game is super easy. Like, I can honestly see people jumping into the series with this, despite the fact that they don't know that it exists. But, geez. And that's even true with the special stages as well. In order to get to them, you have to collect 100 rings and you'll automatically be transported to the special stages, where you'll get even more lives and more emeralds await you. But look like trying to get the Chaos Emeralds on your first try, because memorization is required if you want to get those emeralds in time. But to be fair, the emeralds aren't really that worth it for the ending, because do you want the ending where Sonic runs in place? Or do you want the ending where Sonic or Tails runs in place with the emerald inside him? Yeah, it's a real shame, because these stages are short and these stages are actually really unique. Gigaopolis and Mega Green Hill are the shoutouts because, you know, they're good. You know, they're good stages. They're kind of difficult, but, you know, they're good. Also, obligatory joke about the music in Mega Green Hill. Doesn't it sound familiar? It sounds like that they took inspiration from Mega Man X in a way. There's really not much to say about Sonic Chaos except, you know, it's easy and short. And you can play as Sonic and Tails with their respective abilities finally making their mark on the Game Gear, or in the 8-bit world. Yeah, surprisingly, Sonic doesn't have the spin dash in Sonic 1 and 2, but in Sonic Chaos, he does, as well as the super peel out from Sonic CD. You can fly with Tails, but it's honestly kind of awkward to control. You have to be standing still, and then, you know, holding up and then jumping in order to make him fly, which is But for me, who sucks at 2D Sonic, well, except for Sonic 3 and K, which is because it's the perfect Sonic game for me, it's finally the perfect Sonic game for me, Sonic Chaos is. I honestly recommend playing it if you want an easy time with a Sonic game, even if it's basically under 40 minutes. Sonic Triple Trouble, the first Game Gear exclusive, and subsequently the best one out of the 8-bit ones, to be honest. So the plot here is that Knuckles is back to being a bad guy while Robotnik's doing shit, and you get to play as Sonic or Tails, and Knuckles being one of the bad guys, as well as the obscure character called Fang the Sniper, who you encounter when you start the Emerald hunting. If you want a nicer ending, do it, but honestly, I don't really think it's worth it. I can honestly say this for Sonic Triple Trouble. It does make an attempt of making set pieces for its stages like Sonic 3 likes to do. Sunset Park is the highlight for me in every playthrough because of that train sequence in Act 3. Because of that, I think it tries to be like the Sonic 3 of the 8-bit games, in which, it tries to make cutscenes for itself. Where, after you beat a level, Knuckles does some stuff in order to transport you to the next stage. And yeah, it does try to make the game more memorable in that sense. And even the names are trying to be really, really boss, like Robotnik Winter, which is an actual zone name, as well as Atomic Destroyer. Those sound badass. And, the game is fun enough as it is. You still have your same abilities as you did in Sonic Chaos, where, you have the Spin Dash and the Super Peel Out to help you out as well. See, Sonic CD isn't the only Sonic game to have the Super Peel Out, believe you me. And it also tries to be a little bit harder as well. The final boss in particular I have a really memorable time trying to do, because it's basically a 3-phase battle featuring the Metal Sonic Race, Robotnik and the Fire Machine, as well as Final Zone 0.5. But again, Sonic Triple Trouble, it really does try its best to be like, Sonic 3 in design as well. And, there's really not much more that I can say about that, other than I haven't talked about the inner workings of Sonic already, so yeah, Sonic Triple Trouble is a really good Sonic game. Unfortunately, I don't remember the music to any of that, which I'm gonna have to play that back in order to, really get a grasp for what the music sounds like. But hey, if you want basically a beta version of Sonic 3 before Sonic 3 was even a thing, I guess, or maybe it was a thing around that time, I guess. Well, there you go. Basically put, I like this game. I really do. It was basically the high point of the 8-bit Sonic journey for me. And, I don't regret playing it. It's a good one. It's a good one. But now, we come to the real shit. Here come the Sonic 3D Blast knockoffs. 1996 brought upon us Sonic 3D Blast, and needless to say, it's isometric, it's pseudo 3D, it's a game I haven't played yet, or haven't beaten yet. Somehow this spawned 2 spin-offs for the Game Gear in order to get more out of Sonic 3D Blast as the marketing campaigned it. Sonic Labyrinth and Sonic Blast. Sonic Labyrinth is as follows. Robotnik sneaks into Sonic's house one day, and instead of murdering him in his sleep, he decides to put slowdown shoes onto Sonic so that he can't use his trademark speed in order to defeat him. So, in order to beat that asshole and kick him in the dick, Sonic needs to traverse through various labyrinths in order to reach Robotnik, and this is the entire game. You're in an isometric view using the spin dash to go fast, and you solve puzzles to get 3 keys in order to move on to the next level. And you encounter easy as fucking bosses, and the game emulates like crap no matter what you play it on, whether it be on an actual emulator or Sonic Adventure DX. Sometimes the rooms get really, really confusing, especially the second to last level. Those rooms connecting to one another are jack shit, and I got stuck forever. Honestly, there's really not much I can say about Sonic Labyrinth except, Sonic is not using his trademark speed. You can possibly get seizures if you're not playing this on the 3DS, which why is Sonic Labyrinth on the freaking 3DS eShop to begin with? And yeah, Sonic 3D Blast, it's forgettable. It's a forgettable game, and you can easily beat it in under 30 minutes if you know what you're doing. And honestly, I don't really think it's worth the effort unless you're really curious. It's just a bad Sonic game, and despite the fact that it was made by Sega, and I think Sonic Team was involved, it's just a really bad game from them. Just don't do it. And now for the real shit. Ooh, I've been waiting to talk about this one. Sonic Blast. It's ugly. It's really, really ugly. It's a 1996 Game Gear game, and it looks bad. It's the other Sonic 3D Blast knockoff that tries to be Sonic 3D Blast, except in a platformer. You get to play as Sonic and Knuckles, and, you have their respective abilities as well, such as Knuckles being able to glide and climb up walls, and, I guess to be fair, it was trying to be revolutionary. No, I can't complain about this game. This game sucks total dick. I'm sorry. Those 3D blasts look so ew. It's Sega's clear attempt to cash in on a popular idea, and it really, really shows. It's as if they spent their time entirely on the graphics and the 3D Blast models that don't mesh well and nothing else. Like, I couldn't care about the level design, I couldn't care about how it controls. I even couldn't care about the fact that Sonic actually has a double jump in this game that people thought that it was from Sonic Colors. Like, that is certainly control I'm experiencing. That is certainly how I'm expecting collision detection every time I run through a roof. And that is certainly a level that I absolutely despise. And you wanna know which level I'm talking about? I'm talking about Blue Marine Zone, because oh my god, that zone is just awful. Awful! It's the worst zone to ever exist. Like, it's so slow, it's so underwater, and it's so ew. I can't honestly compliment this game at all. Why is Sonic Boom a bad game again? I will eventually get to that game. I will eventually get to that game, but only play Sonic Blast to see how terrible it is. People thought Classic Sonic was perfect. People thought the fact that, you know, Classic Sonic was pure because of his reputation on the Sega Genesis, you know. Sonic 1, 2, and 3, those are the hallmark games on the Sega Genesis, and to be fair, they are. But at least I can play Sonic 2 with a sort of comfortable face. At least I can beat Sonic Chaos in around 30 minutes. But this is just awful. Like, I couldn't even give a shit about the level design at all. Like, what's the point of even trying to play this? I did not have a good experience at all with this game. No matter if you're playing as Sonic or Knuckles trying to kick Eggman in the dick, this game is at its lowest point for the classic Sonic as ever been. And Sonic Schoolhouse exists. I'm just saying, I haven't played Sonic Schoolhouse, but I'd rather play Sonic Schoolhouse than this. Even though I've never played Sonic Schoolhouse, and I know that's a bad, you know, Sonic game, but, you know, just don't play Sonic Blast unless you're really, really curious about it. It's just a bad game. There's a clear reason why I only recorded 6 minutes of footage for it, and that's because I just couldn't care. But I can just safely say that, you know, Sonic did have, you know, a healthy lifespan on the Game Gear, despite the fact that Labyrinth and Blast suck. But hey, at least it's Sonic. And, you know, at least we're doing better from here on out. At least, you know, we're doing better on Sonic games at this point in time. Just remind me that Sonic Mania is coming, and, you know, we're basically good to go. So yeah, those are the 8-bit Sonic games. Honestly, I consider either, you know, I consider Triple Trouble the best. But my favorite would be Sonic Chaos because, you know, it's so easy. And, you know, I haven't been really that good at Sonic until recently when I played Sonic 3 and K constantly. But hey, at least, you know, 8-bit Sonic 1 and 8-bit Sonic 2, you know, they're good in their own rights. Like, Sonic Chaos is easily my favorite. Triple Trouble is the best. Labyrinth, you know, I'd rather play than Blast, and, you know, Blast, you know why. But yeah, those are the 8-bit Sonic games. Like, again, I know there are other 8-bit Sonic games like Sonic Drift, but honestly, those aren't worth it. And, you know, I want to do something with Sonic Pocket Adventure because I heard that was pretty good, so maybe I'll play it on YouTube or maybe stream it. Who knows? But either way, those are 6 Sonic games to add under my belt just to, you know, basically drive in the fact that 3DS generation should have taken more stages from handhelds. Believe you me. And yeah, those were my full thoughts on it. So with all that being said, I will see you guys next time on Platinum Impressions for when I talk about the game series I am currently playing to death, Metal Gear Solid. See you guys on the next time. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.